welcome back to the show. This is your weekly dose of real, relatable property talk. Now, if you are someone who's been scrolling through a lot of listings and is thinking that private condos are so expensive, but I want to upgrade, I want to have that condo lifestyle, then this episode is for you. Yes, so we are going to talk about executive condominiums, or EC in short, one of the Singapore's most misunderstood property types. So somebody will just say that HDB plus pool plus swimming pool, there's nothing much. But the others will say that it's a secret backdoor to a private property. So what is the real deal? Let's break it down further. Okay, so before we jump in, just a quick reminder, if you enjoy such property insights explained in a clearer and down-to-earth kind of manner, please kindly hit the subscribe button, like, share or subscribe, or you know that somebody who was thinking of upgrading from the HDB, kindly let them know about this video as well. If you have any topic in mind, feel free to reach out and let me know. So what exactly is EC? Think of it like a car, where you have petrol, then you have electric, but then you have this hybrid version, and that's easy for you. It's not really a HDB flat, and it's not really a private condo as well, but just right there in the middle. So here's the thing about EC. EC is actually built by a private developer, so HDB sub it out, but then you still get the full condo experience such as swimming pool, gyms, barbecue pit, functional, but it's subsidized by government. So that's why EC is usually about 20 to 30% cheaper than private condos nearby. They are meant for middle class Singaporeans who want that condo lifestyle but do not want to overstretch financially. And after 10 years, all restrictions are lifted and your EC become a fully privatized condo. So in short, you are getting a private condo at a public pricing. Not that bad, right? So let me share a quick story. So a few months back, I actually helped this young couple. They are in their mid-30s. They are living in a 5-room HDB flat. So they're comfortable with their lifestyle, but then they feel like upgrading because their kids also moving to primary school nearby. So they told me that, Justin, I'm looking at housing, I want facility for my kids. I'm not ready for a 2 million condo, I do not have that budget on hand. So that's where we explore the EC route. From there, they managed to book at EC. That's about 1,700 per square feet. That might sound a lot to you, but you look into recent new launch market, right? For OCR project alone, it's already hitting about 2,002, 2,003 per square feet. And that's a very big jump. So when I showed them how EC historically closed the price gap after they privatized, then their eye widened. So actually if I own an EC, I can stay there, I can still achieve whatever I want with my kids, and yet still worth as much in the future. That sounds like a very good deal to them. So, and that is the quiet power of EC. You buy a subsidized rate, but you enter with a high potential growth. So like every story, right, there's something bad about EC for you to consider about. So I'm not saying that EC are perfect, but here are the few things that you should know. Firstly, EC there's a 5 years minimum period. So which means that the MOP period is the 5 years. So you can't rent or sell until you stay there for 5 years. And you add on another 5 years of build up, that will be about 10 years before you sell off. When you compare to private condos, you only need to hit 4 years SSD. So you have 6 more years extra for EC. Second, household income has to be below 6,000k a month to qualify for a new EC. If you're having more than that, then I'm sorry, HDB might not give you a chance as well. Third, loans are slightly stricter because EC follow HDB ruling where they go by MSR, which is your mortgage service ratio. So in terms of that, right, they only use up to 30% of your monthly income for your EC. That is a bit less flexible compared to private condos when they use TDSR, when it's actually capped at 55%. Lastly, if you're upgrading from HDB to EC, right, don't forget about the resale levy. It is actually depending on your housing sizes, and it may hit from about 15,000 to all the way to 50,000. So now let's debunk some of the myths that I've been hearing about EC. The first myth I always hear about is a huge cash down payment to pay for EC, which is actually not very true. You only need to pay in cash of 5%. The next 15% can be paid through CPF, and the rest, if you're using deferred payment scheme, you defer all the way until you collect your keys. The good part is that when you defer, right, actually your housing still grow at the same time, your CPF grow at the same time as well. and you have actually a bit more funds when you pay off in the end. Second myth in place is that EC are always in a ulu location. That used to be true many years ago, but not really at the moment, because most of the parts in Singapore, right, we are moving towards decentralization. So for EC, right, we're actually hitting a newer towns such as Tengah and Tampines, right? They're actually very close to MRT stations, schools, and upcoming town centers. Third myth is that you need to sell off your HDB before applying, which is not true as well. You can actually apply for an EC and sell off your HDB when the EC is ready. And that is usually about 3 to 4 years later, so you don't need to rush to sell in the first place. Lastly, no grants for EC buyer. That is wrong again. For a first timer, right, you can actually have up to 30k grant for it. So yeah, EC is not really complicated or out of reach as what many people think. And here is why EC offer a great value to you. So firstly, affordability. When you talk about land subsidies, right, EC actually launching about 20 to 30% below private condo pricing. That means that you're getting early in a lower rate. Okay, secondly, it will be about the strong capital growth. So like what I mentioned earlier on, EC actually averaged about 1,007 per square feet. If you take to past historical data, right? So previously EC actually was launching as low as about 700, 800 per square feet, and some of them actually hit up to 1,004 per square feet these days. So that is almost 2 times the jump. So imagine every per square feet actually you earn 2 times right now. Lastly, the 30k grant, which actually no private condos offer to you. And last but not least, the unique deferred payment scheme. This is one thing for upgraders to take note that, because for this, right, you only pay about 20% upfront and no further payment until you collect your keys. Something that private condo which private condo do not offer to you, where you need to keep paying along the way. So that gives you some time to sell your HDB, save up more, and also improve your income before paying the balance amount. But just take note that developer actually charge a small premium for that. If you're using a DPS scheme, you have to top up about 3 to 4%. Okay, so before you rush to book a unit, here are a few things that to sum up to keep that in mind. Firstly, EC are only for Singaporeans. PR and foreigners are not allowed at launch period. Secondly, income ceiling. Please take note of the income ceiling. It's actually capped at 16k for household income, not a single income. Lastly, during the MOP period, you must stay. Thirdly, won't stay during MOP period. Next will be the loan limits due to tighter MSR. And if you're upgrading, do factor in the resale levy. If you're okay with all these conditions, right, and you're thinking long term, then EC could be the right project for you. So let's wrap things up. EC actually kind of like Singapore's best kept property secret. Yet you get condo living lifestyle, government support, and with strong appreciation potential all in one package. And if you plan it right, like the young couple that I mentioned earlier on, you could be sitting on a property that will be growing from 1,007 per square feet to 2,300 per square feet in the future. So guys, thanks for tuning in today. If this episode helped you to see EC in a new light, share it with a friend who's thinking of upgrading. If you are curious whether if EC suits your timeline and your budget, feel free to reach out and I'm happy to walk you through it. Till next time, stay curious.